Hello and welcome. In this message, I wanted to transfer or communicate the energies of creation and the energies of love that exist within you and exist within your core, that you can allow it to receive and you can allow it to feel within your being. And then start to register and start to propagate the expanded version of self after assimilating with the energetic propagation that I'm offering here. And so the message, the energetic frequency that I will hold and I will transmit through is kind of the essence of the creation that is our existence. We at all times exist in the frequency of love. The essence of us exists as love. Our true interpretation, in fact, our only interpretation of being is love. What we do with that interpretation, how we choose to forget and acknowledge and forget and acknowledge, is simply the path of our life. It is simply the path of our knowing. And thus, we lose ourselves in knowing and not. We lose ourselves in pretending and being, in recognizing and losing. But all through this process, all through the discovery and the ebb and flow of our nuance, we are, in fact, this energy of love. And so what I want you to imagine, what I want you to see within yourself is a blooming flower at its full potential, a blooming flower at its peak of its recognition of self, at its peak of its full beauty and full encompassing recognition of what it means to be its divine will. That flower acts as your recognition of your true self. In that moment of full bloom, in the moment of full recognition of you, the essence of you, the creation of you, you recognize your true potential. Now, does a flower spend its entire life in that full bloom? And right, the answer is most obviously no. We have periods of dormant being, where we're simply seeding inside the ground as a dormant seed, as a dormant bulb, waiting to emerge into the warmth, into the spring. We have this phase of growth. We have the phase of recognition of self that propels us forward out of the darkness of our cocoon-like self in the ground, to where for the first time we experience light, right? We experience growth, we experience sunshine, we experience rain, and we start to bloom within the environment that we choose to be part of, right? Our initial bloom into this world is the choice of the environment that is our interpretation of being in this particular time and space. And then as we propagate on forth, as we expand, develop leaves, develop structures, we create bonds. We create expansions of our being into the world that is the exploration of our reality in this interpretation of life. And through that expansion, through the leaf growth, through the reaching of our flower branches into this world, we create the anchoring of our being. We create the extrapolation of our nuance, of the essence that is I, in any one moment of self. In any one moment of our interpretation, we decide what I looks like, which direction we lean, how nimble or bendy we are towards the wind. And then at some point within the essence of us, within the core creations of ourselves, we decide to bloom. We decide to have enough strength and enough power to produce the most beautiful creation of all, which is a blooming flower. And that choice within carries the innate essence of our interpretation of the divine will That is our higher self. That is a higher interpretation. That is the facilitation of the goal, if there is such thing, into this plane of existence as the bloom of life. When we start to create the nuance and the essence of the bloom, we first start to build the structure of what it means to have a bloom come into life, right? We start to actualize the color, we start to actualize the form from the seed, from the form of the seed, from the form of a higher creation, the higher purpose of our existence, into a potentiality of a bloom, right? And so that suppression, that growth within the closed container that is our being, creates our intent into the world, the higher creation of the purpose that is us, that is the extrapolation of our being into the interpretation of us, then starts to actualize its being. And then actualization, in this case, I'm imagining and I'm seeing it as the flower. And then we go into the stages of the bloom. We go into the stages of your creation. The slow interpretation of what it means to open up into the world, to take your heart, take the essence of you, take the love that is the essence already built in within your core, and simply open into the world around us. And that is your expression of self. That is the essence of you. That is the essence of all creation, is that eventually we choose to bloom. And that choice, within that choice to bloom, within the willpower of the seed being dormant in the ground, into the extrapolation of the most beautiful interpretation of us, we are reaching our true potential, our own interpreted purpose on this being that is an individualized to you as an individualized flower. And then post bloom, right, post the initial opening, right, as we contract and expand, contract and expand, contract and expand from day to night, we eventually reach the full propagation of a full bloom, of the full open potential that is our life. And we get to feel the most intense essence, the most nuanced love that has been within our possession all along the way. But now we get to experience it as our being, as the essence, having built the structures and the branches that now support this bloom. And we allow the world to see it. Right? We allow ourselves to be seen by the world. And that is the essence of us. That is the summary of our creation. Be the flower that chooses to create itself. Be the bloom that chooses to come into existence because you have more of you to share within your being. Be the most beautiful bloom when you make a decision on the extrapolation, on the extent in which you will choose to open, extent in which you will choose to propagate your fragrance, your beauty into the surrounding around you, into the nuance of the world, right? The garden that is your life. And then choose how long you will stay in the blooming form of being. Choose how many people should be able to experience the bloom that is your life, the bloom that is your world, in any one moment, in any one interpretation of your extrapolation as a flower, and closing it and growing and deepening of the color and enriching of the sense. And then choose what message you choose to bring forth as you bloom into the world. As each flower enters into the state where the pollinators come in and receive the essence, the message of love that you have chose to bloom into this world, then you can choose to propagate that message forth. And it can reach multidimensionality, right? That your pollen, your message, goes beyond the space and time of your creation here. It goes beyond interpretations of your being, beyond this form. And it leaves this dimensional world and resonates out in a multitude of ways. And that is the love the entire process I've described is the love. That is your existence in this form. That is your existence in this lifetime. What's important to notice is the choice you make in every reiteration of self, in every nuance of bloom and contraction and expansion and decision, in every facilitation of you as a bloom. It's in full potential. You get to make a choice of what that means for the world. You get to choose how the world looks like around you based on your choice into existence, based on your choice into the preference of being that you are choosing in this moment, in this reiteration of self. And that choice carries utmost importance, but at the same time, there's no such thing as the wrong choice. And so you can simply choose and know that that choice is the most right decision that you have ever made, because that choice carries the exact nuance of you that you need to express in this moment, in any one time, and allow that choice to be felt, to be resonated into the garden that is the bloom of your love, into the multidimensional resonance then that bloom is now felt in and propagated in. And that is your essence, that is your creation, that is your manifestation into this world. And so much further than you can even believe to accomplish. But again, the essence is choice, the essence is love, and the essence is you. And then the question is, what will you choose to interpret as your blooming garden? What will you choose to interpret as the flower of bloom? What will you choose to facilitate into the world? How much bloom will you decide to partake in any one interpretation or reiteration that is your essence? That is you as love. And will you see yourself as your truth? And what does it mean then when you recognize its true potential? Thank you.